Have you ever wondered what would happen if Quack's Dice Throne and Batman had a baby? Well, stay tuned because you're about to find out.
All that I got will never stop. I give it all. Straight to the top, will never stop. I give it all. All that I have, I let it be. Cause nobody's better than me. What do you see? Give it all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
Good gaming champions, and welcome to a very special episode of Champions of Tabletop. Matt here today, and I am very pleased to say that I am joined by Brian of Resurrection Games. Brian, thank you so much for coming into our little bat cave here at Voss Media, and thanks for taking the time to show us a brand new game coming for Resurrection Games, which is going to be Brave and Bold.
Yeah, we're very excited about it, and we've had a lot of fun today playing, so thank you for having us.
And as many of you know out there, when you get the Champions of Tabletop approval, sales just... They do stuff.
They do
positive.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for taking time to come here. Brian had the opportunity to come up here to Michigan, and he's actually been showcasing it here at Dion's store and giving people a chance to get their hands on it because, Brian, this game is not out yet. So if you see this game today and you say, I want to own it today, you got to wait.
September 4th is the magic day.
September 4th.
Yeah.
So we've got this game coming up. So Brian, obviously this is going to be coming up with all the conventions. They're going to start seeing this a lot with Origins. They're going to start to see it a lot with Gencon. So why don't you kind of give us the basics of what Brave and Bold is and where you came up with the idea and why it's out there now?
Yeah, so Brave and Bold is at its core a combat game. So you're playing 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 kind of players. It plays very similar in some ways to Dice Throne in that kind of setting up those character places. But the key thing that's different is it's bag building. And so like if you have played any kind of combat game that is like dice based, like Dice Throne, there's a lot of randomness in that. Brave and Bold doesn't have that. You're shaping the bag. So you're choosing what you're purchasing and putting in the bag. Then you're choosing when to stop. So there's some push your luck elements that are part of it. You're triggering abilities. You're doing damage to your opponent. And basically your goal is to be the last man standing. So as you go through the game, you're going to be doing a bunch of different things. There's lots of combos. We have 10 characters that we're starting with at the launch. And then we will be building from there and adding new characters all the time.
Absolutely. And so, the reason why I kind of brought up things like Dice Throne is because obviously the mechanics of this game, as you mentioned, it's all about bag building. So there's a lot of theory behind how and what tokens you're going to put in to build it up. But I love the player boards that you have here in terms of how you can pull the moves off.
Yeah, so one of the great things about the way that we designed the game is as you pull the tokens from the bag, you're trying to decide what is it that you're going to pull off. And you're looking for different combinations. And so you have in your player board really what you need to pull from the bag. And so you can make that decision on the fly as you're going. Again, with the push your luck element, you need to be able to draw what you're drawing without drawing too many crisis tokens. Mm-hmm. And that's like when we were playing earlier, that totally nuked my game because I knew what I wanted to trigger as far as abilities. I had everything lined up what I needed. I'm like, I just need one more crest token or I need one more agility token. I reach into my bag and there's the third crisis. And I'm like, no, that killed me. But those emotional moments are part of what makes this game so much fun to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And theme, I think, when we talk about Amer-style games of thematics, I think that there are a few that hit better than this game because, one, we'll get back to the art in a minute, but so much of it is about that theme and that experience of feeling like you're a hero versus a villain in that actual combat. And I know that was something that you really wanted to get across in this game.
Yeah, so we are so passionate about that. Like when we look at our design philosophy as a game, like how we approach every game, we ask ourselves two questions. Mm-hmm. The first question is, what does the fan base look like? What's the story? What is the thematics that we want to express in the game? And then the second one is there a game there? So can those thematics be translated into how you play the game. Because if you are playing a DC themed game, which this has got a ton of DC artwork, obviously, because it's DC Brave and Bold, obviously. The thing that you are looking for is you want to step into Batman's shoes. And when you play Batman, you want to be able to buy more gadgets than anybody. You want to have all the contingency plans in the world. You want to be thinking about all of that. If you're Superman, you draw your strength from the yellow sun, and you want that expression to be in the gameplay. So if you're playing this game and you were to take all of the DC stuff out, and if you could still play the game the same way, and it felt the same, then we failed as a designer. Because if you're just skinning a game with DC stuff on it, for me, that's not what you're trying to do. What we're trying to do is really express the characters in that. And we can go into a ton of detail about like how we approach the character design, and maybe that's a topic for another conversation, but we always start with what is the essence of the character, and then how can we translate that into the mechanics of each individual character. And so every character plays differently. They're all, in my opinion, very well balanced across the suite, but their expression of how they get to their win condition is all very unique every single time.
And that was one thing I really felt playing as Superman. You were Lex Luthor, and Dion was playing as the Flash. And I had a couple opportunities to take some massive swings.
Yeah, you just like totally beat us down the way Superman does.
That felt very good too. But that was also something, as we got to turn 4 playing as Superman, that also opened the gate for both you and Dion to start to put kryptonite into my bag building, which for those of you who haven't had a chance to see this yet, that also added 2 to my crisis meter if I pulled 1 kryptonite. So there was one time I pulled 1 crisis, and again, you can only have 3. So knowing there was a kryptonite and 4 other crisis in my bag made me think a little bit more before I took another pull, even though statistically I should have felt very comfortable.
Yeah, and those kinds of decisions is why we chose bag building as the core mechanic of this. Like, we want you to have all of the control over the decisions that you're making in real time. So when you're choosing what's going in your bag, there's the decisions that are making. You're constantly thinking back, okay, how many of these do I have in my bag? How many have I drawn? What do I need to pull off that ability? And keep kind of building from there. And so we really want you to experience that decision making and that feeling of control, but we also want you to have those big moments like what you did, where you just totally smoked us with, I think, a 30 damage turn, which is
33. I mean, it was
difficult to pull off, but you did it, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Even on the receiving end, like when I'm the receiving end of like, I hated you in that moment, but I still loved that we were able to experience that.
Yeah, and you brought up a couple things too, is balance in a game like this is so utterly critical, especially when you're trying to bring so much thematics in from all of these different characters, and that's something very hard to pull off in a game like this.
Yeah, the asymmetric nature of each of these characters means that you can't just take one ability and then apply it to everybody. Everyone has to have a slightly different starting bag. Everyone has to ramp differently. We have characters that are very good at the beginning of the turn, at the beginning of the game, but then maybe slow down or start to run out of steam. We have other characters that are more mid-game characters. We have characters like, if you're a control player, then you want to be Darkseid, because he is like, his job is to control the turn and to stop you from doing what you want to do, but he starts at a deficit, so he starts with less health than everybody else. But that's one of the ways that we balance out some of those other key mechanics. So we always are very conscious of what are the levers that we have to pull that says, okay, if we're really strong in this area, how do we balance that out with something else? Yeah. And if we've got a character that we feel like is going to be really dominant in, whether that's competitive play or, some casual play, so that everybody ends up being the same thing. Okay, now it's time to introduce even new characters that can address some of those things or be that. And the great thing about the DC catalog is we have so many characters to choose from that if there's something that we feel like is missing, we can find the matching character that goes with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be really fun.
And I'd like to say that I found out how Lex Luthor played. But the hard part with bag builders sometimes is you pull like utter garbage, and
I think we had 5 turns and I got to play 2 of them, basically. Yeah, because I crisised out 3 times in a row, which that doesn't happen to me that often, but it happened to me at Gamma and then it happened to me again here. So I think it's you guys, like, honestly.
we'll take it because, I walked away with the W, which I always love. And I mean, it kind of felt for Dion and I was like, sometimes you go to conventions and they're like, oh, I'm playing really bad, so you win. And I was like, is he doing this? But sometimes that's the way the bag goes.
Sometimes that's the way the draws go. Yeah.
So we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about, because with any comic book themed game, movie, comic book, it doesn't matter what it is, art, especially in this industry, can make or break games. And, Dion and I have talked about this when we were coming back from Gamma. When we first saw it, was holy cow, is the art absolutely amazing. So who do we have to thank for that?
I'd like to say me, but to be honest, we have an amazing opportunity to work with DC and to work really closely with their team. And there's a couple of things that they do. The first thing is they give us access to a lot of the art and the artists, and they have a huge group of artists. There's over 70 artists represented in Brave and Bold out of the outset. And so we're picking and choosing art. We go through with them. There's a whole screening process of what can we use, what can't we use, what era of comics do we go. So if you're a big comic fan with DC, all of the artwork that we're representing is everything post Rebirth. So it's from 2016 and beyond. And it's really about finding the things, again, that express the character, but that are really, really compelling and something that you're going to really love to see. And some of these pieces of artwork are like a small frame in the comic, and you might have seen it or you might not have, but it's still beautiful. And I want to celebrate those artists because every single frame is an amazing moment. And so some of mine are like, some of my favorites are places that are that. There's also like the alternate covers and some of the other stuff. Like if you're a big DC Comics fan, you're going to recognize some of the artists that are going to be represented here. And so being able to see that art used in a little bit of a different way, and just these beautiful little moments. Like I was showing you the Flash card, right? And it's this issue of the Flash that talks about before he was like Barry Allen, just right after he gets his powers, he's still figuring himself out. He doesn't have the Flash suit yet. He's running around in basically a t-shirt and sneakers. And there's this beautiful shot of him running through a marketplace, and he's, here and there and over on the other side. And it's just this beautiful mural that we were able to take and put onto one of the cards and just really celebrate what that is. And so those are the kinds of moments that I absolutely love. So I'm a big part of the selection. Obviously, Brad, my partner, he's the main designer. He has very strong opinions about what is good art and what is not. And so we kind of get the bit of the final say, but a lot of the input also comes from the DC team, and we couldn't do it without them.
Yeah. And so with that said, obviously, and I don't know if you can go into this or not, but DC has a massive catalog of characters. So what is the kind of long-term intentions with this game, assuming that everybody goes out to the friendly local game store and buys this? What is kind of the 5-year plan or hope with a game like this that you can keep building that out with?
Yeah, so we have already planned the next 2 years worth of characters to release. So the idea with the game is we're going to start with 10 characters. That's going to be what's available right on September 4th. Then every quarter we will be releasing another couple of characters. It's probably going to be around 4 characters. Sometimes there'll be like a limited release of a special character, or a special edition, collector's edition version or something like that. That will also happen kind of on a periodic basis. But our goal is to be releasing, like I said, 4 characters every quarter, and we have enough already planned out, ready to go for the next 2 years. So go out and buy it so that we can see everybody come out. And the other thing I would say, like, we are very open to the DC fan community talking to us. Like, we want to make amazing games for fans and for fans of DC. So if you have a favorite character, like somebody came up to us at a convention and was like, I want to see Zatanna. Well, guess what? Zatanna is in the list. She's coming out. I'm not going to tell you when, right? But she's in that list. And somebody else was like, oh, I really, really like Black Adam, or I really want to see this character. Like, we are open on our social. We're very active on BGG as well. So like, send us a message, tell us what you're interested in, and we'll see what it fits in. And if there's enough interest in those areas, then we can kind of get there and build it out.
You just curse yourself because now at every convention you're going to get hounded with
when is this coming out, or when is that coming out? Yeah, for sure. But that's part of the joy of working with fans.
Yeah. And it always starts with the original. So let's talk about what's going to come with Brave and Bold when it comes out in September. And is that a hard date?
Yeah, September 4th is 100%. Everybody's going to have their product by then.
And so when they get that, there's obviously going to be a couple different SKUs with this. So the first thing that we're going to highlight is kind of the Brave and Bold Vault, which is going to come with all 10. And who's going to come in that box?
So you're only getting 8 in that box. Just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Spoiler alert. We'll give you. I'm going to spill the tea, as we say.
Yeah, I love it.
So
exclusive.
So here's some of the things that you're going to know. So in the Combat Vault, you're going to get 8 characters. Those characters are Superman, Cheetah, The Flash, Darkseid, Lex Luthor, Clayface, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Obviously, when we chose the characters, the Trinity had to be in there, right? So Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. We actually had some other characters planned for the initial Combat Vault, but again, working with the DC team, we have a really great relationship with them. They suggested that we do half villains, half heroes. So some of the other heroes that we had, like, for example, Green Lantern, came out of the box. It's not that we're not doing Green Lantern. He's going to be coming out a little bit later on. And some of the villains, like Cheetah and Clayface, got added to the slate. So we're going to have that Combat Vault SKU. That's kind of the main SKU. It's going to be available actually at Gencon as well. So we'll talk a little bit about Gencon and kind of how that's going to work. But on September 4th in retail, you'll be able to come in and buy the Combat Vault. You'll also be able to buy 2 character boxes. There are two character boxes that are going to be available. One that has Superman and Lex Luthor, and other has character 9 and character 10. And I can't tell you who they are yet.
All right.
But you will know before the end of the summer who they are.
Okay.
And we're very excited about what's going to happen on that front.
Okay. So like this video. So maybe next time Brian will come on and spill the real tea with us of who's
Wouldn't it be fun if I could come back and show off who that character is?
I would love it.
At the same time we announce it.
I would love it. I would love it. It sounds like we've got a future video because I know Dion's chomping at the bit to talk about this too. So, so with that said, and then are they going to be able to buy them as individual characters as well? Is that going to be an option, or is it just the Combat Vault?
Yeah, so the Combat Vault is kind of the launch SKU, so to speak. After the Combat Vault is out, when we release new characters, they're almost always going to come in the 2 character sets.
Okay.
So like I mentioned, Superman and Lex Luthor, then we're going to find, and it'll often be a hero and a villain combination. It's not always going to be that case, but most often it will probably be a hero and an offsetting villain. The reason why we're doing that is we really want to make the game super accessible for people so that like you can get into the game and start going, but with a fairly reasonable price point. But then we also want you to be able to have the collectability so that you can play different characters, try different matchups, because that's where the beauty of this game comes in. Like, let's say you master Superman, which today it felt like you had.
I did.
Right? How you play Superman against Lex Luthor is completely different from how you're going to play Superman against Darkseid, or how you would play against Clayface, or how you would play against one of the other characters. And so some of the skill expression of this game is about how you move through not only learning how to play your character, but how to play the matchup as well. And so we're really excited to see like how we're kind of TCG guys in our background, like how the meta evolves in terms of who are the popular characters, what are the combinations that they like to work with. You know, Superman basically has 2 ways that you can play him. You can either beat him down or he can beat you down. Is basically that.
I like option A.
When you get to Clayface is the most difficult character that we designed. It's got the highest skill level. There's a lot of nuances to play Clayface really, really well. You're not going to get it the first time you play him. You're probably not going to get it the second time you play him, but it reveals as time goes on. So you're like, oh, I clicked. I understand how this part of Clayface works. Okay, can I do that again? or at what point do I need to change the way that we work with him? And so, yeah, having to see those different character expressions and learn the game and then learn how those matchups come together is one of the things we're most excited to get people a part of.
And you talk about, you know, the thematics stuff. The three of us were playing a 3-person game. Of course, my initial intention was to keep attacking Lex Luthor until out of nowhere, the Flash comes through and punches me in the face. And that's when I had to say, okay, you know, all hands on deck. It's time to start throwing fists to everybody, Dion. So MSRP on this, so when people go to their store, they can go ahead and pick this up for...
Yeah, the 2 character boxes, we are MSRP at $32.50.
Okay.
And then if you buy the Combat Vault, it's going to MSRP at $97.50. Okay. So basically what happens if you're buying the Combat Vault is you're paying for 3 characters and you're getting 2 for free.
Okay. Perfect. And just to highlight, because you wanted to make sure you discussed Gencon, what are the big things that you guys are doing for Gencon? Because I know this is going to be kind of your first one, and that's a big one.
Yeah, we took a big swing. Everything that we do is just big swings. Dion and I were talking about that earlier. Like, you know, we've been a publisher for basically 2 years. We started the company. We secured the licenses. We did the design. Now we're doing the marketing and the rollout side of things, and we can get into a lot of those details if you want. But one of the things that we knew right away was if you're going to do a game like this, you have to have the right kind of presence at Gen Con. And so Gen Con is the official launch event for Brave and Bold. The retail release, like I said, is September 4th. But at Gen Con, you will be able to play the game for the first time. You will also be able to reserve copies and receive copies of the game if you're going to be a Gen Con attendee. And so we have basically 4 days. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? 4 days of events all day, every day running. We have a giant 40 by 60 event space in the event hall. The schedule is actually releasing. I don't know when the podcast is going to go out, but the schedule is releasing on May 3rd, and then the registration opens on May 17th. And so you'll want to register early. Basically what happens with all of the events, most of them, they're going to be either a demo or a learn to play event. If you take a learn to play event, you're reserving a copy of the game for the price of your ticket. So there's going to be a bit of a discount. You're going to be able to get a copy of the game, and then you're going to be able to take that with you after the learn to play event. We're also doing what we're going to call like a light competitive version. So kind of like what we were playing today. You get to play a couple of rounds. There's going to be a little bit of prizes. It's not anything super major, but we're going to have some fun prizes and awards. And there's also going to be obviously Gen Con exclusives. If you purchase the game while you're at Gen Con, there'll be all of those fun things. You know, we've been at Gen Con many times. Everybody knows you line up, you get the cool exclusives. So there's going to be some fun stuff that will come out for that.
Now, are you going to be at Origins too?
Yes, we are going to also be at Origins. So we won't be selling Brave and Bold at Origins, but you will be able to come by. We'll have some copies that you can take a look at and see. So if you want to, you know, not take your word for it, but actually see it before you show up at Gen Con and be like, oh, I want to see this great artwork before we go, we will be able to see it. We might be running a couple of demos and those kinds of things at Origins, but the actual first chance that you have to play the game, sit down and really play it, and purchase it will be at Gen Con.
Okay. Any other conventions or any things leading up to Gen Con they can find you at?
Those are the two big ones for us. So we're not really doing a whole lot of the local convention seat. Like I said, we're go big or go home. So it's like it's all the big ones that are there. We did our retail release at Gamma. Obviously, there's been a huge outpouring of support. We're very excited because that means that it's going to be fairly widely carried in September and available. We also have our online store that you'll be able to order the game off of, but you guys will be carrying it and others as well. So
yeah, and we'll definitely get into more about licensing and all those things with Dion on the video as well. We'll do this again and go into a little more depth of that because I think that there's so many interesting nuances to how, especially a newer company, got such a huge license, which I actually find super fascinating.
Fun story, yeah.
So we'll save that for Dion and Dylan so that way they can be a part of that conversation. But for right now, I think that this is really, you know, getting it out there to you so you can start to build the hype up, get excited about this game. And I'll just say, you know, seeing Batman staring at me, it's only a matter of time, I'm assuming, before we're going to see the Joker popping up next. So
Spoiler alert.
Oh, I think I just hit one right on the head. So, with that said, we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
Can't do Batman without the Joker.
But that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm just saying. So, with that said, for today, we'll wrap this one up. But we'll definitely look forward to having you back on the channel, Brian, because you're an awesome guy. Resurrection Games. Where can they find more information on this? How can they follow you?
Yeah, so obviously you can go to our website. It's just resurrection.games. You can also go to resurrectiongames.com if you're more of a traditional website guy, but resurrection.games will get you there. We're on all the social channels. Our handle is RG_ResGames. You can find us on Board Game Geek. You can find us on Reddit. You can find us on Discord. We're everywhere. So our team generally is pretty active. Like I said, we're very involved with fans. We want to hear people about the games. We want to hear what you're discovering and what you're loving. We want to hear what you hate, because who knows? Maybe one of those things will get into a future development of either this game or a future game. And, you know, the great thing about kind of where we're going as a company is it's not just about one game for us. We've got a lot of other things in our pipeline that we're going to be rolling out across a whole bunch of different IP, not just DC. DC is obviously the one we're most excited about with Brave and Bold. If we had a flagship product for 2026, the one that's really going to get everybody to know who Resurrection Games is, this is definitely it.
Absolutely. And like I said, this was definitely on Dion's list for best games at Gamma. So we're so excited to have you here, learn more about it, and see you ramp this up right before Gencon 2026. So with that said, Brian, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us here on Champions of Tabletop. We're so excited about this one, and we'll definitely look forward to seeing more from you at Origins and hopefully having you back on the channel. So awesome. With that said, before we go, reminder, I don't want to make this sad, but for 92% of you who are not subscribed, this could be the last time we ever see you, and that'd be very sad. It would make Batman very, very sad. So let's change that. Make sure you like and subscribe this, because we're almost to 1,000, and it would mean the world to us. Dion will send you so many free things if we do this. So you heard that too, right, Brian?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure he's going to ask me to send him free things that he can then send to you, but we'll figure something out.
There we go. So with that said, champions, never forget, never stop playing. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
'Cause nobody's better than me. What do you see? Give it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.